gentlemen. I'm looking at you on this big screen. Wow, it's so good to see all of you, this incredible, phenomenal group of women leaders and national leaders. So thank you all for joining us and for being together for this conversation this afternoon. It is an honor to be here with Senator Patty Murray, Chair of the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, Congresswoman DeLauro, Chair of the House Appropriations Committee, my dear friend, Senator Cortez Masto, my dear friend, Congresswoman Lee, and all of the leaders from our nation's most important organizations on gender equity. And I don't need to tell you all, time and again, women and families across the nation have benefited from your leadership. And without you, each one of you, we will not be able to get the American Rescue Plan across the finish line now, which is the point of our discussion today. In 1 year, the pandemic has put decades of the progress we've collectively made for women workers at risk. There are three main reasons for this, as we all know. First, job loss. About 2.5 million women have dropped out or have been forced out of the workforce during the pandemic. Many work in lower wage jobs, jobs that have been undervalued for far too long and underpaid for far too long. Second, small businesses are closing. Last February, around 5 million women were business owners, and 2 months later, by April, 1 in 4 had closed their doors. So my first week in office, I spoke with a group of small business owners, many of whom are women, and they talked about how tough it is right now to keep their businesses up and running while balancing all of their responsibilities at home. In fact, one woman, Caitlin James, held her newborn throughout our conversation, which was by Zoom, because of course she was juggling all of the demands that are her daily struggle. Which brings me to the childcare crisis. Because this childcare crisis is a double-edged sword. As homes have become makeshift classrooms, many working women have been forced to cut their hours or leave their jobs entirely. And as childcare centers have closed, childcare providers, many of whom are women, have lost their jobs. At the beginning of the pandemic, the childcare sector alone lost nearly 400,000 jobs. Half of those jobs have yet to return. And I know that this is personal for me, this is personal for everyone here. Many of you are working mothers. Many of you are caring for your own parents, sandwiched between 2 generations. And all of you are a voice of women who have been severely impacted by this pandemic, which is why you know it has created a perfect storm for women. And the longer we wait to act, the harder it will be to bring these millions of women back into the workforce. And let me be clear, we all know this, our economy cannot fully recover unless women can participate fully. So I think we all believe, this is a national emergency. Women leaving the workforce in these numbers, it's a national emergency, and it demands a national solution. So that brings me to the American Rescue Plan, which I know you all are familiar with, you have read, you have helped inform. And we do believe that the American Rescue Plan is a very big part of the solution to this issue. And in many ways. One, it will get immediate relief to women workers, including $1,400 checks to those who need it, and at least $3,000 in tax credits to parents for each of their children. And the beauty of the significance of this is by doing that, we will lift up nearly half of the children who are living in poverty in our country. It will also provide funding, the American Rescue Plan will also provide funding to help schools safely reopen and make a big investment in childcare to help providers keep their doors open. And it will get America vaccinated. So simply put, the American Rescue Plan will help get women back to work. And I'm so grateful for these members of Congress who are championing the key provisions of this bill. And you know that we're so pleased and excited to work with you. And of course, today is about hearing from you and about how the American Rescue Plan speaks to the needs of the women that you represent and how you are helping those women tell their senators and representatives, of course, the four that we have here don't need to be told, they're leading the charge, but how you are helping the women who have so much at stake to share their stories with their members of Congress, telling them what is at stake for their families, because we need your help. We got to get this bill signed into law. Each day of this pandemic is a very long day for folks who have lost their jobs, for the children who are not able to go to school, for the parents who are juggling all of the interests that are important about sustaining and protecting their families. So with that, it is my pleasure to introduce my friend and former colleague, as she is well known, a mom in tennis shoes who runs hard in the Senate. Our dear friend, Senator Patty Murray, the chair of the Senate Help Committee. Patty.
Thank you, Vice President Harris.
Thank you.
It is such an honor to be here with all of you today. The American Rescue Plan really shows a commitment to women as equal partners in our economy and our country's future. Take childcare. We've long had a childcare crisis in this country for everyone, and it has always made things especially challenging for families of color and families who are paid low incomes. And now with COVID-19, childcare providers are struggling to keep their businesses afloat, making it harder for our frontline workers to stay on the job. And guess who's more likely to be working and responsible for childcare in this pandemic? Mom. Women are leaving the workforce because of this. So without support, more childcare providers will close, and childcare workers, who are mostly women, are going to continue to lose their jobs. And whether they're working or not, studies show women also disproportionately are tackling the challenges of remote learning, which is one of the many reasons it is absolutely critical we get our students back to the classroom for in-person instruction safely. The American Rescue Plan provides the resources that our students and schools need and helps families afford childcare and supports our childcare workforce and the providers. Look, our ability to recover from COVID-19 depends on women's ability to recover, which is why we are working so hard to get this bill done. And I'm proud to turn this over to Chair Rosa DeLauro.
Thank you so much, Senator Murray, for the introduction and for your leadership in the Senate. And to you, Vice President, let me just say you represent everything that millions of American women aspire to, and you are not going to leave them behind.
That's right.
You know, success has so many authors. Together we have built a coalition, knocked on the door of change, and as women and as elected officials, we bring unique strength and perspective to that struggle. Women are not opting out of the workforce. They are being pushed by inadequate policies. So we have an opportunity not just to throw money at a problem, but to build that architecture for the future. Use this as a moment to address the serious inequities that have been further exposed by the coronavirus pandemic. The American Rescue Plan meets this moment. Millions of children living in families cannot afford to put food on the table, pay rent. We can alleviate child poverty by expanding and improving the child tax credit. The rescue plan increases the value of this credit, makes it fully refundable. That means that 1/3 of children that are left behind are now going to be included.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.